Video 2. There's the truck sitting in the garage, just up on blocks. Tires and wheels are off. And go a little closer. One of the front leaf springs and the tie rod. I've purchased new tie rod ends for that already. Come in. The reason for this truck is that's my car, and I want a beater for the weekend. So we come around. I picked up that NP 435 on eBay out of LA for I think it was 50 bucks. My son picked it up for me, so I didn't have to pay any shipping. This truck's pretty clean, very little rust, but just about every nut and bolt and everything needs to be replaced on it. Rear brakes were floating in gear oil and brake fluid. You can see one of the drums right there. See all the oil around it. Truck didn't stop very well. In fact, the pedal went to the floor and it kind of coasted. Come around. It's been spray painted a black primer. See if I can go back. Parts I've taken off here. Things that are bagged, nuts and bolts. Some of that stuff's going to be replaced. I don't know why I'm keeping the old shocks. They're pretty shot. Actually, they're not. They just look really crummy. Come around. Here's the front. Front passenger side wheel well. Everything's torn off. Parts that are painted, ready to go back on after I get my axle rebuilt. Got the kingpin kit. I pounded and pounded and pounded and couldn't get the kingpins out. This is probably going to go into the shop, maybe in a week or so. I've already talked to the machine shop and they said they can take care of it. Come around, the hood's off. It's got the 225 slant 6. Originally the truck had a 3-speed with a column shift. It's got a 435 new process 4-speed in it right now. This thing leaks, this truck leaks from every orifice. Valve cover, the spark plug tubes, the capillary tube for the oil pressure gauge, the hydraulics for the clutch leaked. The kid who owned the truck before me had put in a new slave cylinder, but it leaks. I don't know what he did. He didn't tighten something up or strip something. Very little rust, mostly surface. There was some rust on the doors and somebody repaired it, and so they're pretty crummy repairs, so I'm going to have to go in there. I think I'm going to learn how to do a little bit of welding. Hood hinges, they've been primed, ready to paint. I'd like to find a place where I can get new springs for them. I've been looking on the internet, I can't find anything. The motor ran, but I'm going to be replacing a lot of stuff. I'm going to put a new water pump on it. I don't know if it needed it or not, but I'm going to beat the hell out of this truck, so I want a new water pump. It's going to get a new fuel pump. It had problems pumping to the carburetor, but right here, when this fuel pump was put on, they collapsed the line to the carburetor. So I think that was the main reason why it was starving. The inner fenders were in pretty good shape. I've got a new master cylinder. It took about 3 months to get, and I'm going to replace the clutch cylinder too and repipe all that. I found somebody who I can get a new steering box. This thing had about 15 or 20 degrees of play in it when I drove it on the test drive. I still haven't pulling off the driver's side spring. I just have the rear part to pull off. The rubber bushings are shot. I got to replace those. Let's take a look on the inside. Doors aren't in too bad a shape, other than the rust on the outside. Somebody decided they wanted to cut 6x9 speakers in them. I don't know why that always happens on these trucks. I've got some ideas on a patch for that. I do have a little bit of rust right down here. This is the passenger side door. I don't believe the driver's side has any. Steps are unbelievably in good condition, and so are the rockers underneath. Floor pans are in really good shape. You can't tell. Transmission tunnel cover has been cut, I believe, to put the 4-speed in, because originally this was a 3 on the tree. We've got the nasty hole in the dash for a radio. I'm going to patch that up. I think I'll put the radio in the glove box, but of course there's no, you can't see it here, there's no interior in the glove box. You can see the green, that was the original color of the truck. The glass is in pretty good shape. I do have one star in the windshield right there, and another one down there. I think they can be fixed. And all the rubber gaskets are hard as a rock, and I have gaps in there as much as a half an inch or 3/4 of an inch thick, all busted, and I have to replace all the rubber on the truck. Missing the dome light lens. Missed out on one on eBay, but it was incredibly expensive. They wanted $50 for it. It's got the switch right here. Normally on cars the switches are on the headlight switch or through the, when you open the door. This is the only way you turn the light on. The shifter was really difficult to shift when I did my test drive. That handle is off of or this transmission's out of a different vehicle when they put it in here. The handle actually hits the seat when you pull it down into second or fourth. Steering wheel, not terribly bad, but there are some cracks in the center where the spokes hit the hub there. Instrument cluster is in really good shape. Yeah, all the gauges work. I don't have, I should probably slow this down a little bit. Let's see. No passenger side visor. I've got the mirror. I've got a spare mirror too. Driver's side visor, not in great shape. I'm thinking of going to a wrecking yard and see what I can find to put in there. I think in my next video we're going to discuss all the parts I've purchased so far. As you can see, I've got a whole bunch on top of the cab of the truck. Next video probably be a little bit shorter, maybe in a week or so. I've got a couple $100 more worth of parts to order. Until then, we'll see you.